Gardening Through the Seasons. I'm Lynette McDougald, Instructor of Floral Management at Mississippi State University. I'm also the Business Manager of the University Florist, located on the Mississippi State campus. Today we're going to create a floral design with a late winter garden in mind. We're going to take a block of fresh flower foam that has been soaked. It's filled with water and placed on a container. We're going to bevel the edges, taking all of that surface area around the edge down so we have less area to fill, and also we can soften those edges as the composition comes together. The next thing we'll do is begin to add our floral material. I've selected a good winter material, Quince, and we're going to put a square cut on the end using a flower knife, fresh floral knife. We're going to put a square cut onto those ends, which means that I'm trimming all sides. 4 cuts, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then when we place that into the floral foam, it won't turn in the design. The second thing we'll add to our winter garden are some French tulips. Careful to remove all of that foliage that might be broken. We're going to come out to the edge, and when we're making this, let's think about keeping the center of this open and create to the outside. Again, we're removing the foliage. We want to make good deep insertions, so clear that stem where you'll be able to place it into the foam 2 to 3 inches. Go almost to the base because we know that our water reservoir is going to be down at the bottom. Tulips tend to have a little bit of a mind of their own, and look how they're facing. So watch that placement and turn them where they're pleasant to view, where they're not touching each other. We're going to make one more grouping using some larkspur. Going to use a pale pink larkspur. And again, this will go in a group to itself, to the edge, and leaving the center of the design open. Mass those colors together for great impact, and also mimic what might be growing in our gardens a little bit later. Still sort of cold out there. Let's stretch that line back up. Remember when designing in foam that it's necessary to watch for water levels. Just because it's in foam doesn't mean it's not going to need attending. Check it every day and make sure that it doesn't need water. Okay? Now, we have the center of this design more or less. We have a little bit of area that we can work here, and we want to add some interest into the center. We're going to use some soft pink roses. Cut the roses, remove any of those guard petals, the petals that are around the edge of the rose that might have been damaged in shipping, and we're going to drop those deep into the design. This is called a pave cut, very short, deep into the design, and those rose heads are massed together, the colors massed together. We're going to pull that color all the way through that area of the design, traveling from one side of the design to the other. Low, intense color. The rose is on a woody stem, so it's going to like, when it's placed in foam, that its stem is short so the transport of water will be better. Okay, now we're going to begin the naturalizing of this design. In a winter garden, we haven't had time to get outside and clean up maybe as we should. So let's take a group of bear grass and insert that, making placements with several stems at the time. We don't have to go 1, 1, 1. We can put a mass of grass all at one time. Oh yeah, that's beginning to look a little more like my garden We need that grass. Then let's add some wax flower, a little filler flower. We'll pretend like this is Johnny Jump Ups, things that we see in our lawn late February and early March. They're just too sweet to even cut the grass. We want to enjoy those. There's a sweet fragrance coming from our wax flower. Highs and lows, different heights with the plant of this particular plant material. Make some of the placements really short, deep into the cluster, and then allow some to lengthen to add interest and depth to the arrangement. Let's continue naturalizing just a bit. We're going to use some deciduous huckleberry. Bare branches. February is all about bare branches. We haven't leafed out yet, so let's celebrate how it appears in nature. And again, look at the textures with the grass, the deciduous huckleberry, and then the wax flower. Now to totally naturalize and to finish the arrangement, we're going to add sheet moss, mood moss, and reindeer moss. I'm going in first with sheet moss. This is just that typical green moss that we find growing outside. We add our mosses last in the arrangement, in the design, because when we're making our placements into the fresh flower foam, it can get in the way of the stem making a nice clean insertion. So we put the mosses in last. The next we'll use is the mood moss. It's a big, thick, heavy carpet of moss, and we're going to tuck that in. And even just changing out the mosses throughout the arrangement gives it a different look. Adds interest. We want to make certain as we go along that all of our fresh flower foam is covered. Let's drop in just a few bright green placements of the reindeer moss, yet another moss that we have, just to add interest, to break up the colors so we see some different things. Continuing around, here's a beautiful piece of the mood moss. We'll tuck that in. The mosses will wick moisture from the arrangement. It's going to be necessary with a design such as this to check those water levels daily. And then just a little bit of fun, some bright green decorative rocks, just to weight the arrangement, pull our eye down. Let's just put some on each side, just a little bit of fun, a little more interest. Pale greens, peaks, and peaches. Here's our winter garden design for gardening through the seasons. I'm Lynette McDougald from Mississippi State University.